Welcome to Beyond Wealth, Success Unscripted with Matt Calnan. Discover the personal drive, professional journeys, and business strategies that have made a real impact. It's success from the inside out.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we're chatting with Julia Craig, a recent Calgary resident who started a business to help women connect and network. She also works full-time in the tech industry, helping businesses build communities through customizable app solutions. So Julia, welcome to the show, and why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you're up to?
Thanks, Matt. Hi, I'm Julia. I moved to Calgary in September, and I realized very quickly that I had no friends here aside from my roommate. I made a TikTok saying that I was looking for new girlfriends, something more intentional than just meeting at the bar and the bathroom line. Turns out there's a lot of lonely girls out there, and I had hundreds of girls respond, and so I
Wow.
decided to kind of make an event very last minute. I had to create an Instagram, all in about 20 minutes, and find a location, a venue, and it kind of just took off from there. Every event has been sold out since. We have really intentional events. It's really great. I'm also lucky because of the company that I work for full time, Disciple Media. They make apps for people who have communities like mine. So I was
Right.
able to build my community, know all about it, get that up and running in honestly like 20 minutes. So that helped a lot. But yeah, it's been really great. And I've met some really cool women along the way.
Yeah, that's awesome. And sorry, what was the name of that again? Because it kind of had a cool name.
Disciple Media.
Sorry, the group that you'd formed.
Oh, of the group, sorry. Calgirls Club. So
Right.
Calgary, Calgirls Club.
Yes. And what are the events like? Like you said, they're more intentional and whatnot, but what are you guys doing at those events?
So I wanted to do it a little differently because I feel like there's a lot of clubs meant to help people meet friends, but they're kind of small and they're very expensive. So it can be, I see a lot of candle making workshops and they're $75 and there's 15 people there and you might not get along with a single person there. So
Right.
I wanted to make it very intentional so they can fill out questionnaires about their interests. We have friend, friendship bracelet making stations. We'll have, if we're doing a brunch, we'll set them up at tables based on their interests, whether they drink or not, whether they're active or they just like to party. They want to meet friends who also like to party. It's pretty intentional. We also like to make sure that there's always something to do outside of just, the event. So like we said, the bracelet stations, temporary tattoo stations. We had tarot card readings at one. All of the events kind of vary based on interests that people have sent in. So we had one with Taylor Swift. Then we're doing a disco brunch actually this Sunday, which I'm so excited about because I love a disco brunch. And our first event actually was an après ski event. It was not actually a ski event. We just dressed up in vintage ski gear and had the time of our lives. We had a dance competition. Because we had so many sponsors, I was able to give away Flames tickets. We gave away ski passes. A bunch of small businesses donated gift baskets. It was really cool because it got to highlight the small businesses. So it's kind of an all-inclusive event where it's not just for the women to make friends, but also to help small businesses promote themselves.
It's kind of like a slumber party for adults
Exactly.
with the
Yes.
friendship bracelets and face
Yeah,
painting.
that's
Oh
a
no,
great
not
way to
face
put it.
painting. Yeah,
That is a
temporary
great way
tattoos,
to
not
put
face painting.
it. I mean, honestly, there was one night that was so fun. We did a line dancing event and there was 150 girls that showed up. I definitely
Oh,
put out more tickets than I was meant to, but it was worth it because it was so cool. And these girls had literally the time of their lives. Everyone was on the dance floor. Not a single person was standing on the side. And it was so great. We hosted it at Ranchman's. It was so much
oh
fun.
yeah.
I did fall on my face at that event, broke my wrist, but
Oh no,
it
really?
was really fun otherwise. Turns out cowboy boots are very slippery.
Yeah. See, you're not from Cowtown, so you're probably not as familiar with how to properly walk in them.
Yeah, no, I actually ended up taking a knife and slicing grates into the bottom of the sole because I was like, this is not happening again. That was so embarrassing.
That's ingenuity at its finest, right there. That's really cool. I mean, I think it's cool that you can also put people into other groups that you think are going to get along, right? Because I mean, we're all different, right? Some people are active, some people don't want to do that, some people drink,
Yeah.
some people don't. So that putting with those like-minded people probably helps to spur those relationships.
Yeah.
Do
And
you
I
do
feel
it?
like a lot of people are transplants here too, and they kind of get forced into friend groups that they
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily be in if it was their choice. So
Mhm.
giving them the opportunity to meet new people that are actually like them is kind of the goal of this.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people probably just end up with a group of friends from work because that's the only people that you meet,
Or
and
their
you
roommates, friends,
or
most
their roommates. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So how did you end up in Calgary? What brought you here?
I am a very impulsive person. So I was, oh my gosh, there's a bug in my
Impulsive, like making an event in 20 minutes kind of thing?
yes, starting a new business in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, very impulsive. I was at a wedding at Canmore and I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. I had originally wanted to move to San Diego. My grandpa lives there. It's
Okay.
the lifestyle that I kind of seek. I was living in Toronto. I was never home because I'm going to be totally honest. I think Toronto sucks. It's not my vibe. I grew up in the country. It's not for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I came to Calgary again the weekend after I went to Canmore, and I was like, wow, this place is amazing. I came for the Stampede. I stayed in Marda Loop, so I was away from the Stampede. So it was not the Stampede that made me move. So let's make that clear. Um, but yeah, I just loved it. I called my landlord while I was at the Stampede. I did have a few drinks and I told her I was moving to cancel my lease. I booked a moving truck. And then I moved out about a month later and moved in with a girl I also actually met at the Stampede. I was holding
Oh,
up
okay.
a sign saying I'm looking for a husband with cows. Um, I actually did meet someone with cows. It's great. But yeah, so that was kind of how it happened. I just love the lifestyle. I think it's really cool here. It's much more it's slower here, which is nice. People are happier. They're they're just it's just better. It's all around
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. Toronto's a different city, for sure. I quite enjoy Toronto, but I could never live there.
Yeah,
It's just yeah, it would not be
chaos.
not all that enjoyable. You said you're country originally from the country. Where is that from?
So it's called King City. It's about an hour north of Toronto. It's I would say like the equestrian side of the country. So horse girls.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Um, I was a horse girl, but not the ones that you think. Um, so yeah, that was I spent a lot of time there growing up, and then I moved to the city in high school, and then I lived in Switzerland for school, then I moved to Halifax for school. I've kind of jumped all over. Like I said, very impulsive, so I just pick up and move randomly. But I think I found my home finally.
Okay, so you're happy with Calgary. You've been
I
here,
love it.
it would be about a year now, not quite a year at this point,
Yes.
and
Yeah, I'm
home
obsessed
now.
with it. Have a giant backyard, and that's all I needed in life.
That is one thing that Alberta has a lot more than Ontario.
Yeah.
Well, specifically in the bigger cities
Yeah.
is more
Hmm.
land, definitely. So you said that the big event that you had there was like 150 people. How many people are you normally getting out at these events?
So it depends on the event. Like, our first event was around 90. Um, Usually they're between the like 70 to 100 range, but
That's pretty big. Those are big events.
yeah, I do smaller events, but I find that the girls kind of request the more big events because they just want to dance together. They just want to have a good time. They don't want to, no offense, but they don't want to hang out with boys.
Mhm. I understand.
They, and like, I just actually released a trip to Thailand yesterday, and Within like 3 hours, we were at capacity for requests to join. So
Really?
yeah, I really wanted to do the thing. So the way I run the business is, what do I want? And what
Yeah.
have I struggled with? I've
Yeah.
struggled with bullying. I've struggled with losing friends without any reasons. I've struggled with, feeling very alone in a city that's very busy. I've also struggled with, I travel all the time, but I'm so lonely when I travel because I go alone because no one else is gonna book a flight the day before like I do. So I wanted to do something that, most of the ideas, they work because other people are also going through the same thing.
Got it. Yeah. Well, and like you said, you started it just by kind of having a TikTok saying, "Hey, I'm
Yeah.
lonely. Come and help me."
I'm a loser. Hi. I
But obviously, when you get that kind of feedback, and you've done multiple events now, you said, right? How many would you have done now?
think we've done like 12 now since
Oh,
February
so
we
you're like
started.
more than one a month kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
That's
been
awesome.
very busy. The thing is, we're actually, I don't know why I'm saying we, it's just me, but I have gotten a lot of requests from all over Canada to expand this, but also pretty cool. I've gotten kind of around the world too. I had one request from Paris, San
Wow.
Diego, LA, New York. Um, so it's pretty cool. But a lot of towns in Alberta that I didn't think about that really need it, which is like Red Deer, Edmonton was is apparently Edmonton is awful for making friends. High River, like all these different places, and I didn't really think about that. The big cities, they definitely need help, but like the smaller cities where it is a lot harder to meet friends, I definitely want to help women there, so I'm going to start expanding to other
Yeah.
cities as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down in Lethbridge, so a couple hours south of you. So I am
Hey!
in one of those the smaller cities. We're about 100,000, and I mean, I don't think you're
Good.
going to get 150 people out at an event, but
Yeah.
this is a need in an area like this too, right? I hear it from men and women all the time. Like
Yeah.
you hear that feedback, and the problem with a smaller city like we're in is we don't have the same opportunities to go to events. We
Yeah.
don't have a stampede, right? Like we don't. Well, actually, we have whoop up days. We have whoop up days, which are like a mini stampede. Yeah, we call them
Okay.
whoop up days. It's because our fort is called Fort Whoop Up. So
Yeah, okay.
yes, that's
Yeah.
why. Um, so we have that kind of stuff, but like on a Tuesday night to go out for a late drink with people, like that doesn't we don't
Yeah.
really have places that offer that kind of stuff. And that would
Yeah.
be your Red Deers and your
Yeah.
Medicine
Oh,
Hats
I
and even
know.
Edmonton. Like Edmonton is not the same as Calgary
I
for
know
that stuff.
Edmonton apparently sucks. I've never been, but everyone keeps telling me it sucks. I keep being like, I should go to Edmonton and visit. And they're like, don't. But like my boyfriend's from Fort McLeod. I spent a lot of time there. I was just in
Yeah.
Lethbridge, and like I you're kind of I get it because you're kind of lumped into who you're going to school with, and then
Yeah.
once people a lot of people are moving to Lethbridge that are like my boyfriend's sister's boyfriend. He's from Ireland and he
Okay.
doesn't know anyone. So, it's stuff like that. We were talking about starting one for men where it's like whiskey and cigars kind of events.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just getting them out there, it is a little harder to get guys to buy tickets to things. So
Mhm.
that's my only stipulation with that one.
Yeah. No, no, that is true. Actually, there was a group, they may still do it. I don't think so anymore, but down in Lethbridge here, there was a group and we did scotch and cigars.
Yeah.
And we didn't, there wasn't like a ticket that you bought. Every time you came, you just brought a bottle of scotch
Oh
with
yeah,
you.
that's
And if
smart.
you forgot, you forgot. And if you bring two kind of thing. And that was quite successful. But the thing was, we could only do it I think every 3 months is like the most frequent that we could do
Why?
it and actually get people out. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. It's men
just
are
didn't
men are
show.
different that way, right? I don't
Yeah.
know. I always enjoyed it. I mean, I don't like smoking cigars, but I enjoyed
Yeah.
the scotch
I
part.
like a glass of whiskey.
There you go. You actually answered a bunch of questions that I had written down here, but I'm going to expand on them a little
Yeah.
bit because that the expansion to the other market, like it is a needed thing. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to get texts when this airs. I'm going to get texts and emails saying like, yes, we need this. Like you
Yeah.
got to convince her to do it.
Let me know.
Um, yeah, because I mean, there's obviously a marketable business opportunity there. And in the day and age that we live in, you don't even have to be in the city to run these groups. I mean, I think you could probably force yourself to fly around the world and
Yeah.
visit all the different groups
I
if you
know,
had
that's
to go to
insane.
Paris and things like that. Like maybe start one down in like the Bahamas or something.
Yeah, St.
But you
Lucia.
can do that virtually, right? It's more about the getting the systems, the processes, the communication in place, and then having somebody stay on top of
Hmm.
that from an organization perspective. And that can be done anywhere in the world. So
Yeah.
um what does that path look like? Like obviously you've thought in depth a little bit about it there.
I'm a very, this is my baby. It is actually something I did once in Toronto too, so it's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to bring people together. I love dinner parties. I love all this. So I want to make sure they're perfect. So I am that person that will fly there to make sure that I am
Yeah.
running the way I want to run. I actually was just talking to my CEO, my company that I work at full time, and
Yeah.
we were talking about how it is hard to find the right balance because, of course, I can't run it all, but it's very hard to find someone that kind of aligns with the values that I have. You know, you're getting the party going, but not being a part of the party. So,
Right.
so
Right.
you're not blacking out.
Yeah. That
Please,
yeah.
nobody black out who works for me. Um, yeah, and then, having the energy levels and like the shamelessness that I have to be able to just go up to anyone and not care about embarrassing myself, it's really hard to find. And so I think what I do is my goal is I'd like to be there for at least one event in every city,
Yeah.
and find people who, like a few people that can be almost ambassadors to the Cowgirls brand,
Hmm. Hmm.
and have them host, because a lot of these girls, they just want to be involved in any way. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm going right now, but I'd like to, ideally, what I'd like to do is have one event in each city a month minimum, so that, but different types. As one's a little more tame, and then one's like maybe a dance party one, so that
Okay.
you have the different variations for different interests with girls. Because some girls, they just want to have brunch. They don't want to dance. They don't want to
Mhm.
party. They just want to have brunch and chat. Whereas other girls, they want to get buck wild. They get on the dance floor at 1 in the morning. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the goal. Is I'd ideally like to expand my team, but I want to be very selective about it because they're representing my brand, and I need them to reflect well on that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And well, I think no matter what business it is, it's finding the people that align with those goals and
Yeah.
values is important, but especially when it is effectively a kind of a social group or
Yeah.
social goal towards it, then you really need those people to align because you can go in a lot of
Yeah.
different directions real quick and
Yeah.
have the
And
blackouts.
especially word of
Right.
mouth. Oh my gosh. Like if anything bad happens, it
Yeah.
could completely ruin the image of the business. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um yeah, especially all of our, social media growth has been organic. So up until about a month ago, I hadn't done any paid ads.
Hmm.
So it really is word of mouth, and I need it to be a a good response when people
Yeah.
talk about us.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because you're right. It's in that area or that industry that you have to have the positive reviews because if you start
Yes.
getting a bunch of negative ones in there, it kind of
Yeah.
helps implode on itself a little bit, right? Um, okay, so let's jump back to the men side of it a little bit because I've been thinking in my head, I was like, this
Yeah.
would be really fun. I would not go online and buy a ticket though. So you're right, that does make it a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
Um, would you ever do it like membership based versus like ticket for an event based or?
Yeah. So we were, again, I was looking at that as an option, because I think what I would do is probably give people the option. You could do a yearly membership
Yeah.
or a monthly membership, or you could do per event basis. So for you know, for the women in the city, there's a lot of girlfriends of hockey players. They're only here for the summers. Then they go to
Hmm.
Germany for the year.
Yeah.
So, doing an annual membership wouldn't make sense to them. So
Hmm.
giving that tiered option where you could do, and maybe at one point I do, like, you could either do annual or you could do monthly.
Yeah.
But right now, just to keep up with the costs of, DJs and restaurants and all that, that's why I've been doing it per event, but I definitely have looked into doing a monthly or membership option just because I think, especially for men, commitment issues and all, membership might be better.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Okay, let's get away from the men and back to
Okay.
the women, because that's really what this is about. What do you think this does for like female empowerment and confidence and things like that?
I've had a lot of really cool stories come out of this. The line dancing one specifically, my roommate came up to me and told me that she wanted to meet someone, and she brought me over to this table, and this girl immediately started crying when she saw me, and she was just profusely thanking me for starting this because she had lived here for 3 years and hadn't made a single friend. And she
Wow.
was like, I was on the brink of moving home. Like, it makes me emotional and gives me goosebumps talking about it, but she just was so sad. And she was like, I was calling my mom every day. I've been going to therapy once a week because I'm so upset. I moved here because of a job. I broke up with my boyfriend and I didn't have any friends because he alienated me from everyone. And I really, really needed this. And I hear that all the time. It's, you know, broken families, or, they've broken up with someone, or they just moved here, or they've lived here their whole life and they just weren't a social, or maybe just in general, they're not a social. So it's very hard for
Mhm.
them to get out and meet people. And that's really helped. I've even seen my own friends that I've made through it really blossom. I connected with, um, a friend of mine that I used to ski race with when we were like 7 years old. She was at my
Wow.
very first event. And I looked at her, I was like, Kate? She's like, yeah. And we've become really close since. And I've seen her come out of her shell so much. And just, you
Yeah.
get that witty banter. And it's just seeing people really be around the people that bring the best out of them is so nice, because I've seen the people who came to the first event that have come to every single event are completely different people now. They're just so much more outgoing. They're bringing other girls in. It's a lot for me to welcome 150 girls, so they're helping me with it. It's pretty cool. I honestly love it so much. It brings me so much joy. That's why I'm like, this is sacred for me.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you obviously have a lot of passion
Hmm.
behind it, which you need in this type of field, right?
Yeah,
It's not a job. It's got to be kind of the
yeah,
passion behind it. You do work full time
yes,
outside of this.
yes.
What's it like to balance that with doing this? Because what you're taking on seems like a fairly big commitment, especially if you want to grow it there. So what does that look like?
I am very lucky. I could not have asked for a better company to work for. They have been so supportive. Um, so if I need time to work on Cowgirls during the day, they're really supportive with that. Um, the thing with this company, Cowgirls, is it's a lot of work, but it's also not a lot of work. Because I love it and it's what I typically do
Yeah.
on my own time regardless, is connecting women and reaching out to small businesses, seeing where I can help promote them, because that's what I love to do. It's actually not as much work as people would think. For me, the work that I do have, which I'm not great at, is admin. So, that I struggle with. I definitely should hire someone, but it's really, I think because I love it, I don't really find it that much more work. I'm sure my boyfriend hates
Yeah.
it because we'll be on vacation and I'll be on my computer emailing restaurants and bars and venues, being like, would you please host us? And coordinating drop-offs for sponsorships.
Right.
But I mean, that's like, I don't know, I couldn't ask for a better workload. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing
Yeah.
everything
No, that
that I
that
love.
that does make sense. When you have the passion, it
Yeah,
doesn't feel like work anymore. It's just
yeah,
you might not enjoy all the tasks as much as the others, but
yeah,
you don't hate doing any of them.
exactly.
You sound like a really good candidate for a virtual assistant, though,
No.
and I think that might that might help out a lot.
Yeah, no, I do actually need one.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. I do
Yeah.
need one. I've looked into it. I don't know anything about this virtual assistant, so that's on my list.
Got it. Got
If
it.
you have any recommendations, let me know.
I have lots of recommendations
Okay.
actually. What's next for this? I mean, outside of like, potentially expanding to other cities, but what's next? What events are you looking at? What's coming up? And don't forget, this is coming out probably a week or 10 days after we're filming. So you can't talk about an event that's right away.
Okay. So we have a monthly disco brunch. We are planning one for August, the end of August. It's a mystery location.
Oh,
This is the first one we are doing is at local. We just wanted to test the water, see how it goes. But what I wanted to do was do a mystery location each month, rotating around Calgary so we could promote different restaurants and bars.
cool.
Um, so that one will be released probably in the first week or two of August, but the other one that we recently released was our Calgirls trip to Thailand.
Right.
So that one's pretty cool. We have a list for people to sign up for. We haven't actually taken any full hard signups yet, because we want to do a Q&A session. So that will also be coming up. We're going to do a Q&A session. So anyone who wants to come to that is able to. And as long as they sign up on the list for, it's a wait list essentially. That one will also be in August, at the end of August. But aside from that, I think we are just really trying to focus on the community side of things because we want to make sure that people have a place to meet after the events are done. And
Mhm.
so that's where I'm going to send them to our website, which is just cowgirlsclub.disciplemedia.com. This is where they can connect after the events are done. And also if they want to go for a hike, if they want to go golfing, they want to play tennis. So instead of having to go to an event to meet someone, you can also meet them on there.
That's awesome. Oh, good for you guys. That's I think what you're doing is really, really cool.
Thanks.
I think when people hear this, I'm telling you, I'm going to get endless amounts of texts and emails from this, and I will pass them all on
Yeah.
to you. I
Well,
promise you
I
that.
am spending a lot, the first 2 weeks of August in Camrose, Alberta. So I'll be doing a few trips to Edmonton to meet businesses that want to get involved. So if anyone you
Awesome.
know wants to get involved in Edmonton, I will be around.
Awesome. No, that sounds good. I do also think we're going to have you back sometime to maybe do an update. And I have a bunch more questions that I
Okay.
want to get through. So we'll have to have you back here. But so you dropped the website there, and that's where people are going to go if they're looking for those events. But if somebody wanted to reach out and maybe communicate with you on something or connect with you,
Yeah.
where would they go for that?
So the main place to connect would be on my Instagram. It's just Calgirls Club, CALGIRLS. I have my email on there as well, but that's the best way to communicate with me directly, either via email or on Instagram. So they can find that on there. Instagram's where we have all our events as well, just at the link in our bio. We also have a lot of the businesses that we've been promoting on our Instagram as well. So that's probably the best place to reach me because I am very responsive. I'll probably respond within the first 10 minutes.
Okay. Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, certainly appreciate having you on the show today. And like I said, we'll have to do a follow-up episode in the next little while to see how everything's going. And the best of luck with that. And hopefully you can keep everything going.
Yeah, thanks so much, Matt. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Julia.
You've been listening to Beyond Wealth, Success Unscripted with Matt Calnan. Want to be our next guest? Visit beyondwealthpodcast.ca/guest. See you on the next episode.